What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Raw and Nerdy. I'm Rook, and because Archon's still dealing with a busy, hectic life, welcome my guest, Mossy, our resident Boba Fett. How you doing, Mossy?
Hey, Rook. Glad to be on here. Pretty good, buddy. Hopefully these headphones work out all right. Like I said, I'm getting a little bit of input lag in between it, but we'll make it work. We always do.
Exactly. So today we're going to be discussing a little all over the place. We're going to talk about Starfield, some Star Wars. We're going to talk about our takes on the Mandalorian and Grogu. And we're going to talk about some of our favorite urban legends and favorite monsters. So
Yeah.
let's just get into it, I guess.
You are listening to Raw and Nerdy.
So I'm taking, because you were
Sounds good.
playing Starfield right before we jumped in.
Mm-hmm.
How was your day in Starfield, sir?
Kind of frustrating. I'm having an issue with it trying to save. It doesn't happen constantly, but it seems like every time I get something cool, like a figure that I don't have before, or finish like a really long planetary survey and then go to save it, sometimes it saves. Sometimes it just kind of sits there and stares at me and locks me out. But fortunately, I love the game enough to keep on playing through all the hiccups and pains and delays and radio silence from Bethesda and this, that, and the other. But
Yeah, hopefully
it wasn't a bad time, I guess. I finished the Terran Armada DLC, and I think
nice.
part of that might be why it's starting to hang up a little bit more, because there's a lot more things going on in the background of the game. The way that I finished it, the incursions are going to keep happening. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it, or maybe just try to do an old-fashioned update on it. Maybe that'll help it.
Now, hopefully that was be a big bummer if you can't properly save the game. I know what it's like having an issue that doesn't let the game save for a good 60 hours.
Oh, yeah. I've turned off all because I researched a little bit, and they're like, well, sometimes you get like save bloat. So I've knocked my save files down to like 4. I've got 4 now. I've shut off auto save while travel. Basically, we'll only manually save now. And that's supposed to help. But so far, no good.
I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out. The game is a fun game to play. I haven't played it in the past few weeks just because I've been busy during the week and on the weekends. Well, I worked last weekend, so.
Well, you had a birthday the other day. Happy birthday late.
Thank
Everybody
you.
in the
Yes.
comments, wish Rook a happy birthday.
So those of you who don't know, the day after recording or the day before recording this was my 42nd birthday. I am now level 42. You know, my favorite number, because it's the answer to life. It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything, according to a giant robot.
Yep. Level 50 here. And I think I'm just going to keep on saying I'm level 50. I'm going to stop trying to level up. Just keep it where it's at.
Some people I knew, because they hated saying their age after they got above 21, they just started saying, I'm level 21 with so many years experience. All right. So, Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
All right. So, Starfield is a very fun game. I haven't played it in a while. What's your take, now that you've beaten Terran Armada, what's your take on it?
I lost you, bud.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Let's see. That's 100.
I hear you. Let's see. So that's what happened. Create the business, be able to change it during recording. All right. Can't change mic while recording. Can't change headset while recording. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's really kind of garbly. And there's maybe like a 5-second delay from when you start talking on video to actually when it comes across. Sometimes it's longer than that, even with the latency. But I don't know. Like I said, it might be my crap top. Who knows?
We'll continue on. I can cut out the space. So I will do a question and answer. That way it's not a lot of, or not a question and answer. When I say something, I'll give you a delay. That way you have a chance to respond so I don't step on you.
Okay. Oh, no worries, buddy. And you sounded great just now. So hopefully that'll continue the trend.
Awesome. So let me click a mark. All right. So you said you defeated or beat Terran Armada. What is your take on Terran Armada's storyline?
I liked it. It was not nearly as in depth as, like, say, a Shattered Space with different things going on. It was more or less, it almost felt like a giant bounty mission in a way. But, for the price, I know I got it for free because well, not free, but when you bought the big package of Starfield early on, the pre pre preview play and all the free DLC. Well, not free DLC, but included. I want to say if you didn't have that and you bought Terran Armada, it would have been only like $10. And there's definitely $10 worth of value. I mean, there's all sorts of really cool equipment at the end that you can get. But that's the thing too, is with it releasing along the same time as free lanes, I kind of have a hard time distinguishing the difference of what was just included in that update and what was included with Terran Armada. But as far as the storyline goes, it was decent. It was kind of cliche, but it was different. What really kind of threw me off more than anything were the agency that was going against the Terrence Void. That I heard one of my friends mention it as he's like, yeah, it's like the VFW of the settled systems. It's all because what does Void stand for? Veterans of Interstellar Deployment or something like that. They're like Freestar Rangers, Ryujin, all the different guys who've kind of gotten together. But it's not like it's a secret society or anything like that, like they did with, why am I blanking on King Gath stuff? What was the name of that? Really cool. And I love the DLC. It's the $10 DLC from King Gath Creations. You know what I'm talking about. It's the Curse of the Knife.
I think so.
The one where you get a Watchtower.
Yeah, I was about to say that one.
Yeah. Watchtower has, compared to not Shattered Space, but Watchtower compared to Terran Armada, I think Watchtower has a more interesting story because it kind of factors into Starborn too, and you're trying to figure out everything that's going on that aspect of it. But no, I enjoyed my time with it. Delta's pretty cool for a robot that's, he's no Vasco, but he's all right.
Yeah. It is hard to distinguish without actually going into the notes from Bethesda what actually was installed by free lanes and what came with Terran Armada, because I haven't done any of the real Terran Armada quest line, but every time I'm in the what do they call it?
Anchor point?
The cruise mode.
Oh, cruise mode, yeah.
Whenever I'm in cruise mode and I hit these POIs, when I go to the POIs, sometimes it's talking about the Terran Armada.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they are tied together. And I'm interested in running it. I'm going to run it here soon, probably while streaming, just because it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
But I do want to try out Terran Armada because just by the snippets you get about what's going on in the POIs, you actually see a snippet of something that could become more. And I want to see how much more it becomes and see if there's more for Bethesda to play off with it going forward, or so these really good creators to go in and play off of it more. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Let's see, with the Terrans, they've got the different guns, the different armors. Of course, you've got Delta. Because he wouldn't be in
all the ship parts.
Yep, all the ship parts. Yeah, a couple of different ship varieties too. They've got, 3 or 4 different just new ship makes that are Terran ships. Their layouts are a little bit different, but yeah, I like my time with it, and it will be curious. I'm curious to see too if anybody takes that ball and runs with it afterward. Like, you never, to my knowledge, you never go to whatever system that they've all kind of gotten together at and started their own society or whatever. I don't want to ruin it because I know you're going to play it too, but there's a choice to do one thing or another at the end, and basically the only thing that it will do, and this is kind of common knowledge, it will either stop the incursions or allow them to keep on happening in your world. But there's no like assault on their main base or anything like that, or where they've set up shop, so to speak. There is no, like when you go to Dazra with Shattered Space, there's no like home world or anything like that. And for $10, I don't really expect them to have that, but maybe somebody could mod something like that in. Like, this is the Terran capital, or whatever the case might be. It'd be kind of cool.
And if you think about it, when they released the Tracker Alliance, it wasn't much.
Oh no.
And then later on, they came out with a lot of quests for it. So maybe they're going to do something like that.
It could be. Yeah, you definitely got your values out of Trackers Alliance. At first, you're like, what? One mission, this vulture stuff, and this is it? And because the first one was pretty cool at the space station, and that was free. And then they're like, wow, all that for a gun and a cowboy hat and a trench coat. And it's like, well, no, let's hold my beer and watch this. And they came in with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I did like the new Tracker Alliance. I haven't played it in a bit, so Trackers Alliance. I took the mission where you go after the two people at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna see what happens there. I did the Mantis quest, and my personal opinion with the Mantis quest is it wasn't as good as it could have been, or at least what the hype some people were giving about it. It was entertaining. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. A
I like.
psychotic guy thinking he's a Mantis. I
Yeah,
like the suit better.
yeah. The suit's cool, but man, that quest just about killed my. I've got like 3 main characters that I've held on to. I've got my original guy, and I haven't played him since like I want to say 2024. And I've got
Mm.
one that I just went crazy with creations with, and that one might be unplayable now because there's just so much stuff. He's the one that had the pirate fleet, and it's a
Oh
good
yeah.
time, but man, he broke a lot of things. And then there's this other one, which is the only one I've ever gone through Unity with, and I about lost him because on that Mantis quest, when you're playing on an Xbox, it seems to be more of an Xbox problem than anything else, like a Series S almost specifically. Some people I think have complained about it on PC too, but there's a section in that Mantis quest line where you're going through the ducts, and you know how the ducts
Mhm.
kind of twist in on you. There's a point at that point specifically where you kind of fall through a grate, the Xbox will lock up and it'll be
Ooh.
completely black and you won't see anything, but you'll still hear your character moving around and you're like, what's going on? So I researched that a little bit because I'm like, I can't get out of this. What's going on? And it's like, just let it play out. So I let it play out. And eventually, after what seemed like 20 minutes, my character appeared down by like that jail section or wherever it is that you're at. And they warn you that if this happens, you have to bypass the cutscene when you fight the mantis, or you'll get an infinite looped cutscene. And the only way to
Oh.
do that is you have to have a master lockpicks, or for your digipicks, you have to have your security level up to be able to pick master locks. And on top of that building that she's in or he's in, you can pick a little airlock on the top of it and drop in, and then you cut out a lot of that cutscene that she does. So I've never saw the cutscene. I just popped in and killed her. That's kind of how it worked. But yeah, that was the only way to bypass it. Otherwise, you're stuck.
Oh,
And if you
that
don't have a prior,
sucks.
yeah, and if you don't have a prior save to revert back to, or you don't have a master ability for digipicks for being able to crack those kind of locks, you're hosed. Yeah, that character's just because you can't backtrack out of that vent, you can't leave the lair and without beating her. So it's just it's my first
Yeah, that
real
sucks.
experience with almost a game breaking bug that would have really pissed me off. But thankfully, it didn't break the game, so
Right,
dodged a bullet.
that's good. Hopefully, they come out pretty quick. Well, it's been a couple of months now. So hopefully they come out soon and actually get an update out to fix that, because that is a good storyline. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I might not think it was as hilarious as other people with me beating the Mantis quest, the secret base quest before and getting the Razor Crest before
Uh-huh.
going to this Mantis bounty hunting. So it wasn't as funny. It was interesting that I could keep messing with his mind saying, I'm the mantis. No, I'm the mantis and stuff like that. But yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, so my character's Wraith for the bounty call tag or whatever. So I
Hmm.
missed out on all that fun anyway. But yeah, I can just say, no, I'm the Mantis. No, I'm the Mantis. Back and forth.
So, so the fun part is as long as you've done the mantis quest, or not mantis quest, the secret base quest, getting the razor quest and becoming the mantis,
Uh-huh.
the game, if you talk to Zero, he recognizes that you are the true mantis. And that if you would have, and he actually comments that if you would have picked the mantis as your call sign, it would have been ridiculous or
Uh,
something along those lines. So he actually does comment about that.
so he
So,
realizes that's cool. A little
and
insider.
as long as you've beaten it, you have the option to say, no, I'm the real mantis inside the story arc.
And
So,
give him crap.
yeah.
The cool thing with my character being called Wraith, when he does some type of stuff to, I guess he runs a background check on you or whatever, he
Mhm.
says something about even wraiths can die. So he has a little personal line just for whatever your call tag is. I think I want to try it out with different ones because there's a couple different, of course, call signs you can use when you join up with the Trackers Alliance.
Yeah, because I've used Raven. I've never used Wraith, but I've used Raven, and I forgot one other one I used before that was actually quite entertaining because he comments on all of them.
Huh.
So
Each one's got a
that was a
special.
well done character.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if they do, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Let's go back to
Oh,
what I
no
was
worries.
going to say. So one thing I do like is I was never a big fan of the Secret Base Mantis outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily, I can deal with the suit. The suit's the suit.
Mm-hmm.
It was the helmet that threw me off so badly.
Yeah.
I really like the bounty hunting quest for the Mantis, that helmet, because it
Yeah.
actually looks cool.
Yeah, it looks like it's got like the jaw kind of thing on the bottom of it for
It
an
actually
actual
makes
mantis.
it look like an insect.
Yeah, yeah. Now I will say this though, I do like the Razor Crest a lot more than what's the name of the one that you pick up with the mantis quest is like a flower or something like the orchid. Does that sound right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, the orchid. Yeah, the
Yeah,
orchid.
yeah. I like the Razor Crest a little bit more than, or not the Razor Crest, but the Razor Leaf.
Razor Leaf. Yeah.
Yep. Star Wars on the ring.
I know, right? Hey, there's actually some builds out there. My next one's going to be building the Razor Crest.
Oh yeah, yeah. That what's his name? Lyndon, the
Yep.
the ship guy. Yeah, he makes some really cool ones where they've done
I
like
use him and Cornelius. I think it's
Okay.
Cornelius. But I took a couple of them, and I'll take Lyndon and Cornelius, and I'll see what I like about both of them on certain things, and then I'll smash a ship together
Mhm.
and use those aspects I like. I think my current design of the ship that I have posted in Discord before is from Cornelius, I think. But there's some really good shipbuilders out there that have some really good showing you how they built the ships. Problem is, with some of them, they're bigger than the 80-meter length. And I did a measurement using Google Maps where I work, and I measured 80 meters, and I'm like, that's a lot bigger than I thought. So I work in an area where I have 2 hangars, and then in between those 2 hangars is the offices, the hydraulic system, and all that. And then there's a twin set of buildings right next door. Quite literally, they're all the same building. It's just, it goes hangar, ranch house, hangar, hangar, ranch house, hangar. So, and I measured it, and it goes like all the way from one end of my hangar to like the middle of the first hangar on my
Oh God.
neighbors. So 80 meters is actually really big in real life.
Yeah, and then trying to park that thing on a planet that doesn't have a structure waiting there for you to park it in, this is going to be tough. That's why I think you guys have talked about it before. It'd be kind of nice if we had, sort of like No Man's Sky does with the freighters and the drop. You'd have like your drop ship, but then you could have a massive freighter that you could park your other ships at. That'd be kind of cool. Capital ships and stuff.
Yeah, that would be a way they can do it. With Watchtower, though, I figured I can build a ship that is bigger than the 80-meter limit. Get the mod to allow me to build bigger. And then I can keep that as the ship that's always in space. Yeah. I can fly my smaller explorer ship or whatnot and have a massive battleship just floating around in space.
And you can get some different mods too that will make your crew count go above like the 7. Like I remember Kilo saying something. I think he's got one that has up to 100 crew if he wanted to, put that many in there. So yeah, you could make like a big capital ship kind of floating out there, and that's where you would go to, resupply or whatever. Have all your workstations and stuff there, and traders and things. Because there's different mods too. That one guy that like I said, had so many mods that ended up breaking the game pretty much. But you could get kiosks for your outposts, and I think you could place them in ships too. So you could have like traders that would sell guns and ammo and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it'd be just black market stuff too. Yeah, you could just have that kiosk right on your ship. You would never have to go to You'd never have to go to New Atlantis and worry about the ground disappearing on you.
But luckily with this character, I have unfortunately, I do not have my starting Rook character anymore. I deleted him because even going through the Unity, that never fixed it. So I was like,
yeah.
screw it. I'll start him over. Yeah. So I did. And the only mods I've downloaded outside of Watchtower are shipbuilding mods.
Yep.
The one that has the most mods is my Kalen character, who actually has the bounty hunter outfit, the Mandalorian suit, and the Master Chief armor, and the
Oh yeah.
Federation starship. That character.
Yep. Yep. For the Star Trek ships, do you have any of the mods that do that for the? I think Altec is the guy who makes those, but he's got a bunch of different.
I have Altex Habs, and they come with a couple of warp reactors. I do like how he did his Habs. I also like how he did his airlocks too, because his airlocks have the mannequins with the suits and stuff.
Okay. So yeah, that's right there for you when you go out for your. Yeah, it makes sense. I've always tried to set up ships that way when I build them. Like I have or not even just ships, but like outposts. Like if you're going into the surgical area or the lab or whatever, you have a little thing for you can put on your lab suits or whatever. Just you don't have to do it, of course, but it's just something for immersion and fun.
Oh, of course. That's one thing I do like about the Falcon systems is that 2x3 hab is actually really well done. I mean, amazing. You don't need an infirmary because it comes with one built in. It comes with the captain's quarters. It comes with crew quarters. So it's a one size fits all. But the one thing I've noticed it's missing is you have your research station and you have, I think it's the weapons workbench. I didn't see the standard workbench, the armor workbench automatically. So
no, yeah, that one's weird. Like the armory, if I'm remembering right, one side is weapons and then the other side is spacesuit, I want to say, but I don't know if there's an industrial one or not.
The industrial one, I don't think there is one in there.
Yeah.
Where was it? I don't remember where it was, but I end up getting, sometimes I'll just put the armory in, even though I have the 2x3 that gives me the weapons, because the armory gives me the
statues or
it gives me the spacesuit workbench.
Yeah, I like Falkland a lot. They have hopefully my dog over here, she's coughing. That's not making too much racket. She's old and coughs. Anyway, I like the greenhouse section because you never have to worry about bandages ever again. You just go there, pick fiber because it makes fiber continually. And then craft those into bandages because you're always getting shot and bleeding or something. But yeah, Falkland was fun. I just wish it wasn't in New Atlantis, and I think the mod author is going to move it to like a separate space station, or at least there's been talk of it. Because putting things in New Atlantis is just
it bogs down New Atlantis bad.
I can't count on one. I can count many times where that stupid elevator from the well up to right behind Jemison Mercantile has locked up when the door opens. You just get the internal wheel going round and round and round as it's trying to load in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I think it would work better as a space station.
Definitely. Or one thing I kind of thought was neat too is Miss O she does a lot of mods for ships, and she has one called Lambent Shipworks, I want to say, and it's based in neon. The cool thing about basing something in neon is neon's literally the only thing on neon. It's all water, right? So there's not a lot of stuff that's going to be bogging anything down other than the city itself, which I guess is, if you think about it, it's definitely the city with the most going on as far as lights and stuff goes. And there's a lot of other things going on there that's not per se happening at Aquila or New Atlantis or anything like that. But since it's basically the only thing going on there, she's made a really neat little subsection where you can go down and buy different ship parts. One of the coolest things that she has is they look like, have you ever saw like in art classes and stuff, the little wooden figures that are, about maybe 8 inches or so tall, but are just wood. And you put them in different poses and stuff. I want to say that it looks something like that, and you can put your suits on them, your space suits, and it makes like a little miniature figure. But how you can keep because instead of having like the big mannequins or whatever, you can have these little things set up on your desk. And it's I need to grab my suit. So you grab your little figure and you're good to go. But no, she's got some really cool stuff. She's also got really neat landing pads for, that big base that I had that was kind of out in the water where the landing section was. She makes these circular pads that are surrounded by rock, and it takes a sampling of whatever rock that you're on, basically for the planet, and surrounds it with that, so it matches and looks really good. But that's one
Oh,
of the few
nice.
places I can actually land that Starborn ship of mine, where it actually lands and instead of being off kilter, because it won't do normal landing pads for one reason or another.
No, that
I've,
is weird.
yeah, I've been getting a lot of mileage out of that ship this playthrough, because I've not spent any money at all on building ships, which is typically something I love to do, but it's all going into guns and armor. And I think I finally got that all sorted, so I'm gonna start building ships again. I've been missing it.
Yeah, several people, Kilo, Widget, they've all said that, yeah, when you're doing Terran Armada, you start investing heavily in weapons.
Yeah, those I won't ruin it for you, other than say that the last boss fight, the level is very high, at least for the enemy that I ran across. I'm like, holy shit, what have you been eating, lady? Good Lord. She was a beast. But you'll like it. It's fun.
I'm pretty sure I'll get there. All right, so that was Starfield. We haven't talked about Starfield in a while, and I enjoyed talking Starfield. It's just I got to catch up before we can really have an in-depth conversation about Terran Armada or other aspects that are post-Terran Armada. Let's roll into the Mandalorian and Grogu, because we've both seen it. It's been out for, 3 or 4 weeks now? Maybe a little longer?
Yeah, I want to say, what was the last holiday we had? Memorial Day. It's been out since right around then. That's when my daughter
So
and
it's
I
been a
went.
couple of months. So I think any kind of spoiler, we're talking about a movie that was in theaters. So be advised, there may be some spoilers, but it's still, we're going to talk about it.
Sounds good.
So when the movie started, the one thing I thought was, this is, and I don't know why, but I was like, this is how Book of Boba Fett should have started. With him going after all the bounties he was going after.
Yep, and the flame. There's that one section where he goes through the door. He has the flamethrower, and he just kind of sweeps the floor with it. I'm like, yeah, that's my Boba Fett.
I know, right? I was like, I wonder what Mossy thinks of this intro. I can't wait to talk to him about it.
It was really cool. And I like Mando quite a bit. It's just I can't see him without thinking, where's my Boba Fett? And actually, there's been some sad news that's been coming out about that. They've sort of put him on the shelf. They're not.
Yeah.
That Tim was given an art interview, about different things, and he said, "Yeah, they've just told me there's no future plans for the character." I'm like, that's some.
I think
bullshit.
It's because it didn't get the kind of warm welcome they were expecting.
Yeah. If anything, it got people angry, and I think they're just thinking, well, let's not. I don't think they really want to touch on the original trilogy much anymore. That's why, because there's a couple spots in not Book of Boba Fett, but in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie where they could have brought in somebody else, and had somebody instead. It was basically all new people coming in to help them.
Well, I forgot his name in the ship. He's actually from the animated series, one of the animated series. So they've been doing a lot with bringing the animated series into live action.
Yeah, you see a lot of his characters from the Clone Wars and stuff. He has his favorites, that's for sure.
But it's nice actually seeing them pull from some stuff that they're pulling from. I'm still a very big supporter of the idea. My conspiracy theory is the Mandalorian and Grogu is it almost seems like they're making their own style of backstory, pulling from Yoda's backstory from the expanded universe, how Yoda was raised by a bounty hunter and all that. So I do like how they're pulling more stuff from the expanded universe in, though. Like in the animated series, they brought in Thrawn, and I would like to see them tie the Mandoverse in with some of the more TV series stuff, like Ahsoka.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him make a appearance in Ahsoka or something along those lines, because that would be cool to see him be part of a team that helps take down Grand Admiral Thrawn.
No, definitely. My conspiracy theory, and it's going to sound weird because we never really see, when Yoda becomes one of the Force, he's just gone, right? There's no.
You just see him fade away.
Yeah, he's entirety, he's gone. But my whole thing is like, the Emperor was always trying to do different kind of clone stuff in the extended universe. Remember how he was having issues with the Force, kind of, I don't know, with the clones, it sort of degraded. He was always trying to find a way to get the midichlorian count up, or at least preserved. And my big conspiracy is that Grogu's not actually, he never was born. He was grown in a lab, because there are cloning officers that were part of the Mando series early on. I think Grogu is actually a clone of Yoda. How they would get a hold of his DNA or whatever it is, I don't know, because like I said, he faded into nothingness, became one with the Force. But maybe there's something from the Jedi Temple, when Anakin went all blitzkrieg scorched earth on it. Maybe there was some kind of heirloom there, or I don't know, maybe they had a blood bank, like if somebody was ever injured, where they could get a transfusion and they store their own blood. I don't know. It's just all BS, but that's my theory. I think maybe they'll find out, or maybe they'll never say. Nobody will ever know where Grogu came from. But
so it makes it I would really like to see them with the Mandalorian and Grogu continue with. So my take on the movies was, it seemed like a 2-part episode, or one of those 2-hour episodes special episodes that you usually see, but it was a standalone that you could watch without knowing anything about the series.
Yeah.
I would like to see them take this with, say, either go into a season 4 or jump into a second movie and actually start age Grogu a little bit, and actually start going back and learning more about his species. Because
you don't got much.
Yeah, you don't got much. It's cool having the mysterious species that nobody knows much about, but at some point, you're going to have to define it. Otherwise, you're going to have people continuously define it against the way you're imagining it. But I would really like to see a backstory because more so along the lines of the fact that Grogu is 50 years old, which is older than, would have put him as an infant, what we would consider an infant, while Yoda was still alive. What if he was Yoda's child?
Yeah. You never know. I mean, it's hard to say, because, they were always one about the Jedi having that doctrine and code, but they would break it when it was convenient for them, so to speak. They're supposed to be, the whole, don't deceive one another, but look what they did to Luke. I mean, they, from a certain point of view, of course, they're like, oh no, they didn't tell them that Vader was his father, but they're like, well, he's not your father, but yeah, he is his father. I mean, if there was never a Vader, there would have never been, if there never would have been an Anakin eventually, and then they kind of seem to suit themselves. The only one who I think was kind of on the up and up about it was Qui-Gon, because he more or less was, like, I remember you saying in that episode last week with Rabbit about the Grey Jedis, he was pretty much the Grey Jedi, and he's the one who taught Yoda, and also he taught Obi-Wan, after he was dead, how to do that Force Ghost thing. That supposedly is canon. I think it's still canon. At least it was in the EU, kind of right after people were asking, I'm like, how could Qui-Gon, and at the end of Obi-Wan, you actually hear Qui-Gon's voice talking to Obi-Wan. So he teaches Obi-Wan how to do that whole, I guess, one with the Force, and then kind of project your ghost and everything else. So, Star Wars.
They mentioned that in the Obi-Wan series, that only the most powerful Jedi actually have mastered going into a Force ghost.
Yep.
So,
and it's, and it's written by, how many different people now? And it's going to have some inconsistencies and errors, and people want to pick at it like it's the real world, and we're trying to find the real truth, the real history, and I get it, because we love it, but you got to kind of give it leeway sometimes. I mean, anything made by man's hands is not perfect. It's going to have its hiccups, but she's like Starfield and all the BS that game's been doing to me with save states lately. If you love something, sometimes you love it in spite of what it is, not so much because of what it is.
Oh, of course.
You make
now, One thing I've noticed, one thing I actually do like is when I listen to the audiobooks from the expanded universe, they have started putting a little blurb at the beginning of the Essential Legends sections. And it literally talks about how you might get some inconsistencies from the books compared to the movies because the books are legends and are remembered differently than how the events might have actually happened. So if they pull stuff, yeah, and I like it because if they pull stuff from the legends and they put it in live action and there's conflict, that's how they get around the conflict. And it's like, all right, I can get by with that hand wave because you're saying this is people's story telling a story on how they remember it. So,
Yep.
but what'd you think? Back to Mando and Grogu because I like sidebars like that.
Oh yeah, me too.
What did you think of the reveal of the Razor Crest?
Oh, that was there were 2 points of that movie that really, because I enjoyed the movie, like I said though, but we watched the He-Man one like the week later, and I remember talking to you, and I'm like, I think I like He-Man more. But
yeah,
there were 2 parts in that movie specifically that just made me smile ear to ear. The one was the Razor Crest being rebuilt. Well, not rebuilt, but it's back. And then the second one was Grogu making the little Yoda mud hut. Just instinctively knowing how to do it. He just started cracking that thing out. And that's like, well, that's kind of cool. And then I think there's one instance too where he's walking around with a stick in that swampy area. And like that, those just, they were nice little throwbacks. But
they did a really good job on portraying. I like the puppeteering with Yoda or with Grogu. And I love how they did Grogu in that movie. I liked his suit up scene.
Yeah. What I thought was really good about it is, he doesn't really have any lines, but it's just his interactions with Mando that, it's kind of well done how it was done.
Oh yeah, they've done a really good job of showing emotion through action and not vocals. My favorite thing in the TV series is when he first gets in that robot and hits no and yes.
Yeah, and there's the spot where he hold on just a second, buddy. Where he takes the little ball that's on the end of the thing, puts it back on.
Oh yeah, I just love how in the movie how he's saying don't push the buttons, and he's like, the buttons I told you not to push the buttons.
Yeah, it was neat. It was also that whole thing with the Jabba's kid. There's an old, I think it's a Dark Horse comic of Boba Fett that's called When the Fat Lady Swings, and it's a throwback to that comic actually. The plot line behind it. Embo was pretty cool. I forgot how neat he was, an enemy.
I forgot how buff he was.
Yeah, he's quite the fighter. I mean, they did a good
Not
job.
often. One thing I really do like is they actually showed how Hutts fight.
Oh yeah, with the two hatchets that he had, and Amanda was swinging that hatchet pretty easy.
And so I liked that. And then I liked how instead of them just always being sitting around and being pampered and stuff, you see 3 Hutts fighting each other. Or 2-on-1, actually. And it's actually really fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It gave more diversity to what you see about the Hutts.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't expect him actually to be as good of a fighter as he was. You always used to kind of think of them as slugs and slobs, but no, he could throw down.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact, if I remember this correctly, the Hutts in the original A New Hope weren't originally going to be slugs. I think that was added later because where he steps on Jabba's tail, he stepped on something on the scene while he was actually talking to the person, and he stepped over it.
Yeah.
Or he stepped on it. So you learn that stuff. I looked something up. We were talking about Boba Fett and the book of Boba Fett and how it's going to be a cyborg. How do you say his name? Tamura.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually pushing to be the live action Rex.
Yeah, he'd be a great job for it too. That guy's a great actor. What was it we just saw him in? Wrecking Crew with the guy who played Aquaman and Batista. That was pretty good. He plays a bad guy in that one. But no,
Yeah, he's actually a good actor.
he's a nice guy too. It's just as far as like interacting with him and stuff on Twitter, he'll reach out to fans. He's just compliment your collections.
Mhm.
He's a big fan of Boba Fett too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those actors that play iconic Star Wars characters that are a big fan of the series. I mean, he played Jango Fett, the clones, Boba Fett.
Yeah,
He played a
yeah,
lot.
he's a good dude. Yeah, I could really get behind him as a Rex. That'd be kind of cool.
I could.
There were a couple of people that were trying to. There's a old bearded guy on Endor when they're doing the Return of the Jedi, and people were saying that's Rex, CGI him in. I don't know if I'd get behind that per se, but yeah, it kind of looked like it could be. If you aged him up some.
Well, yeah, it could have been. I mean, it's not too far fetched.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
always. I remember watching the Clone Wars with my kid when he was younger, and all the different clones and stuff, and thinking, and where was this when I was little? I would have really loved all the the different signs on the helmets, and they really did a cool job with it.
Yeah, that they did an excellent job. I love the Clone Wars. Was talking with Rabbit about how if she's going to watch Ahsoka, she needs to watch Clone Wars and then Rebels. And she's like, my daughter said it's bad. No, she's probably talking about the cartoon one, Clone Wars, which we don't talk about Clone Wars. The one with the cartoony artistic style that lasted like 3 seasons.
There's that one by the guy who did Samurai Jack, Tarkovsky.
Yeah, that one.
That sound right? Yeah. I actually really like that one because there's one scene that he did of that where General Grievous is hunting some Jedis down, and he just goes in there and wrecks shop, and grabbing them with his feet, smashing their heads into the ground, and just flipping them all around. And it's like, wow, that guy he was really good with combat animation, I think. But yeah, his characters always had a unique look to them that didn't necessarily jive with Chad.
Yeah, that was my only issue was the design of the characters. The story wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was actually meant to be a short miniseries to fill the gap between 2 and 3. They came out and flat out said, this is just to fill that gap. Unlike the Clone Wars, which actually filled up the entire Clone Wars.
Yeah, yeah. And you can see Anakin's kind of slow progression and turn, behind the scenes too, the different frustrations and stuff with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really like the Clone Wars, and the Tarkovsky one was actually not too bad either. I mean, its mileage varies. I mean, I'm a Star Wars apologist, so to me, the only bad Star Wars is no Star Wars. So I like some stuff a lot more than others, but everybody's kind of up in arms about how the new movies are bad. Like, yeah, they're not great, but I wouldn't call them bad. I still enjoyed going to see them. And if I could go back in time and say, what you're supposed to go see this movie this night, would I stop and say, nah, I have a feeling the movie's bad, or it's not my Star Wars? No. My butt would be in the theater. I'd be sitting down watching it.
My issue with those movies is the fact there wasn't a continuity. Yeah. And by continuity, it's behind the scenes continuity of the story they're trying to tell. Disney butchered that one horribly with the jumping between different directors and producers and story writers in between each one. I think you could see the direction they wanted to go with Rey in the first, in the Force Awakens. And then it's completely different in the second sequel. And then the third one, they just tried wrapping it all up into one nice little bow. If they would have stuck with the same crew through those 3 movies, I think the trilogy would have went better.
Yeah, I think so too. They also didn't really do a lot of explaining. It's just like, that's why I think Rey got a lot of that whole Mary Sue syndrome where people were saying, oh, she's terrible. Oh, she's the daughter of Palpatine. She's going to be powerful. But they didn't really show any like background training or anything like that. And she just kind of fell into being superpowered. It's like they didn't really understand the whole, becoming a Jedi bit.
Yeah, they didn't really tie into the, hey, she just realized she has Force powers. She wouldn't be able to do some of these things or understand how she can affect things that quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But yeah, it was something I could say, well, I guess, if the cost is me either having to deal with this or this product not being around, I'd rather deal with it. It's no big deal.
Now, one thing I do appreciate that they did is the lightsaber fight scenes in the sequel
Mm-hmm.
trilogies. In my opinion, when it comes to Rey wielding a lightsaber, she wasn't trained in lightsaber combat. So her just savagely swinging the lightsaber actually fits. A lot of people complain that we went from these elegant lightsaber duels from the prequels to what you see in the sequel trilogy. And I got to say, she wasn't trained. She's not going to know how to do these elegant fights.
Mm-hmm.
Kylo Ren wasn't really trained in lightsaber combat either. So, that's why you don't see these elegant fights with lightsabers.
At this point, they're just trying not to cut their own arms off, no self-amputations.
Now, that is where some people had an issue with it, was somebody who's never wielded a lightsaber understanding how to wield a lightsaber. I'm sorry, but the average person that picks up a weapon with a really hot blade that knows it can cut through anything is going to do their best to keep it away from them and at the enemy.
Yep.
They're not just going to sit here and do all these fancy moves to try chopping, and that could chop their own legs off. Now, that does go against a little bit what the book said in the EU, where the reason why lightsabers wielded by Jedi is, or why they could wield it so well, is because they used the Force to keep from killing themselves with it. But
and they'd have a connection with that little living crystal kind of thing in there. But
yeah,
all I can say is Han can open a tauntaun pretty easy with one. So if he didn't cut off his leg on off.
I mean, there's nothing saying somebody can't just turn on a lightsaber and pick it up, or pick it up and turn it on.
Yep.
Can they do all the flashy moves with it? Not so much, but they can utilize it at least as a tool.
Yep. And yeah, I thought anyway after Ray Park with Darth Maul, you're never topping that. The Duel of the Fates and stuff. That was just
the fact that they slowed down that fight scene for the movie because they were just going too fast with the fight.
Yeah.
Watching the speed in the movie and then watching the actual recorded fight was like, holy cow, they're really doing it.
Yeah, they did some really good choreography with that. And Ray Park's just an outstanding martial artist anyway. Guy's really talented. And McGregor and all the, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan kept up with him pretty well. I at first was I remember when the prequels came out, I was having a hard time. And I think you touched on it too, is how much Obi aged up, in those years from Ewan McGregor to, Arthur Guinness. It's like, I guess that Tatooine does a number on you. All that sun.
Yeah, Tatooine, plus how much force is he having to utilize to survive out in the middle of the desert by himself and all of that. Because so you see him in Obi-Wan right after he goes into hiding and the kids grow up a little bit. So you see him there, and then you see him in Star Wars, was it Rebels? One of the animated series post Clone Wars. You see him, and he actually is looking more like, what's his name from the original
Arthur,
trilogy.
yeah. Well, not Arthur Guinness. That's the guy who makes the beer. But his last name is Guinness, yeah.
Yeah, but you see him start aging more and looking more like him. So they did a good job, if you actually watch the body of work as a whole, aging him properly. It's really hard to reconcile going from what he looked like at the end of Clone Wars to what he looks like about 25 years.
Yeah. And you figure too, that's also like when Qui-Gon's teaching him how to do the whole Force Ghost thing. Maybe that does the number on you too. I imagine it would.
I mean, if you look at what the dark side did to Palpatine when he did the Force Lightning on Mace Windu.
Oh yeah,
it really sucked the life energy out of him and made him look old. So maybe the Force actually ties in
power at a price. Yeah,
trying to do certain things. Yeah, but yeah, I can see the aging and stuff more so now. It's harder when you see Ewan McGregor on how he looks now after 20 years versus how the character aged in the animated series. So I can see people's argument about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they've got more stuff now too, right? They've got more stuff to kind of bridge it, like you were saying. There's more product available to watch, where they've kind of made it a more easy
Mm-hmm.
transition because you have more examples of it, where you can fine tune it a bit. Where before it was like young, old, but
Oh yeah.
now, yeah, now it makes a little bit more sense.
Oh yeah. It definitely does. And now I want to ask a question. Have you seen Moth Shadow Lord?
No, no, that's on my things to watch.
I'm
I've heard very
liking
good
it
things.
because Sam Witwer. There are interviews out there where he out Star Wars nerded John Filoni or
Wow.
Favreau. Yeah, and he out nerded him by actually pulling out all his knowledge about Darth Maul and the Sith and all this.
Uh-huh.
And every time there's interviews out there, so every time Sam wanted to portray something, he's like, "Was it Filoni or Favreau? Forgot which one it was." But you talk to him, he's like, "No, this isn't his show. No, this isn't his show," making Sam think, "Okay, it sounds like they might be doing a show for him." And now Sam Witwer is getting all sorts of inputs that he can portray for Darth Maul the way he thinks Darth Maul, based on all of the lore out there, should be portrayed. And I
Hmm.
actually really like Darth Maul. So Darth Maul did the, "Hey, I'm a bad guy. I came back to, I'm actually alive. I'm going to go be a syndicate powerhouse." But the way they did it actually worked. Unlike the Book of Boba Fett, which was rushed and didn't make any sense. Darth Maul's was built over time. So I really like how that story is going. I highly recommend it because Darth Maul is a very interesting character, and Sam Witwer does a phenomenal job voice acting him. And he tries staying true to how Ray Park portrayed him in the movies.
I'll definitely have to check it out because it's been on my short list of things to try to get to for certain. I was just actually looking through Disney Plus today. I saw that they put on Predator Badlands, so
Oh,
that's
nice.
that's available there. My daughter and I went to see that. That was great. But no, and I saw it and I thought, oh, I have to dip down into a Star Wars or Starfield continues to frustrate me. I've got finite amount of spare time to do stuff, but I can watch a series instead of screaming at my Xbox.
Surprisingly, I have not. So obviously, I'm an avid book reader or audiobook listener, depending upon situation. I always, any kind of big game universe that I really like, I try looking for books for. Mass Effect, I've read all of its prequel books. Elite Dangerous, I've read a couple of the books based in that universe. I have yet to see a book decently based in Starfield.
Oh, I know. I bet you there's a lot of fan fiction out there. I'm sure people writing different things for their characters because that game itself kind of promotes living in the world, so to speak. So.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it'd be nice to have a couple good Starfield novels out for sure.
I think a Starfield novel that covers that takes place during the Colony War would be awesome.
Mm,
Fit
definitely.
some backstories, because one thing Bungie did right, in my opinion, with Halo is they had Eric Nyland write the novels for The Fall of Reach and the book that takes place between 1 and 2. I
Mhm.
forgot the Flood is book 2, which takes place about the video game. I can't remember the name of the book 3 off the top of my head. I've read all of them, so
They all kind of run together after a while.
yeah. And it's a series I've read The Fall of Reach many times.
Mhm.
The book that takes place between 1 and 2, I haven't really read as often because to me, The Fall of Reach is just a phenomenal story. But they did it right by hiring an author to go out and write novels that fill in some backstory and stuff. I
Mhm.
wish Bungie would do that with Starfield, authorize and then fill in whatever gaps you don't have with
Yeah.
DLC or something that covers, because it's not the first time. If they did some sort of DLC that went back in time, it wouldn't be the first time they did it. I think I've
Mhm.
discussed this. I don't remember if it was in a video or if it was in Discord, but they have went back in time in Fallout 3 with the Operation Anchorage DLC,
Yeah. Yeah.
where they told the story of Anchorage. So they could do something similar
Mhm.
uh, in Starfield.
Another thing too, which would be kind of nice, is especially with Starfield, is since you've got the Unity and you can go through different universes and stuff, you can have some things in there that can be different spins on the same character, and
Mhm.
contradict one another, and you aren't held down by everything must be canon. Well, no, maybe it's canon in this world, but in the other universe, maybe it's not. I'd like to see one
Oh,
where
yeah.
the Crimson Fleet wins, or the one
United
where
Colonies takes over the entire settled
yeah,
systems.
yeah, just all sorts of there's so much potential there. I really hope that, in all the years to come, Starfield enjoys the same support and success, even if it's just by modders, who are
Mhm.
like your
I mean,
Team
look at
Draft
Skyrim.
creations. Yeah, yeah. If it's gonna have some staying power, I just worry that when Elder Scrolls 6 comes, I think it's gonna be a big power vacuum and it's gonna suck all the air out of everything as far as Bethesda goes. But
I don't
Star
think so.
I hope not, but I know Elder Scrolls 6 could literally come out tomorrow, and I would still be trying to get my damn Starfield to save right. I'd still be playing it. I mean, that's my game. I mean, for better or worse,
Yeah.
I love Starfield.
That when it was first announced, when we were discussing making a podcast about something, and we settled on Starfield because it was the new and the greatest at the time, and got Archon on board, and then we all went out and decided to go, all right, cool, we're doing Starfield. That was some of the most fun I've had in a video game launch. And
And
I've been a part of launch for Star Trek Online, Star Wars The Old Republic, and I think I was there at launch for Lord of the Rings Online.
Mhm.
So I've been part of some launches, but realistically, Starfield has been one of the best launches I've had with a game because it was new, it was massively replayable, and it's still one of those games that draws me back in. Even after all that time, I still jump back into it and find myself playing it.
and to think too about what you're mentioning with those other titles versus Starfield. Starfield single player. I've got games that I've arguably put maybe more time in than Starfield. Right now I'm sitting close to the 2,500. I think like with Ark Survival Evolved or something like that, I probably have more, but that's across. I had it on the PlayStation 4. I had it on Xbox. I even had it on Switch. I've had this game on different platforms, and it's also multiplayer. So, you kind of have to wonder if maybe there's something special about Starfield if it can do all that crap in just a single player
Mhm,
experience. And then people still kind of come together to share, oh, like you and me. We share what's going on in our game, and
mhm.
it's strange that it's got such a big community for a single player game, but it does, and I
I
love it.
mean, look at Skyrim. Skyrim's a single player game. It's
Hmm.
still going 20 years later, and it still has a huge following.
Okay.
Modders have kept it alive for the most part. Think if Bethesda keeps doing what they're doing with them actually spotlighting modders, the good
Yeah, yeah.
modders, and they keep pushing out and endorsing some of these mods and give the characters abilities to write new stories for these mods, like they did with Watchtower. Make it where they can create a whole entire Unity experience where maybe Bethesda goes out and does an expansion, not just a DLC, but a true expansion where you go through the Unity, there's a massive war going on, and you're actually entering the Unity, going back to the Colony War or going to the war where the Terrans are actually invading instead of just doing these incursions.
Hmm.
That would be entertaining. It would
Oh
be
yeah.
entertaining to be able to go through the Unity and the Terrans run everything, and it's either join the settled systems. I don't want to say revolution, but
Like a
rebellion.
rebellion, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
or join the Terran Empire.
yeah,
That would actually be pretty cool.
almost like a Star Wars sort of deal, where you've got the Empire versus the free
Hmm.
factions. That's the weird thing about Starfield, and it's not a perfect game by any stretch, because I can find things to nitpick about it, even though, like I said, I love it. But I really wish they would have done more with the factions as far
Hmm.
as Free Star versus United Colonies, because there's really no point. I mean,
I
There's
was expecting if you pick UC background or you pick the Freestar background, I would expect more animosity from their opposing areas when you go. And
Mhm,
like you go to New Atlantis, the prices for a Freestar person are higher
mhm,
because maybe that one store doesn't really like the Freestar Collective because of the war and stuff. And vice versa, going to Freestar Collective and Aquila City and Neon as a member of the Settled Systems or the
mhm.
UC. So I think that could have been played on significantly more.
Yeah, because they give you the vibe like that. What's the mission? Ground Pounder, where you've got the
Yeah.
UC Marines and then
Hmm.
the Freestar, and they get cordial with one another and they act nice, but they make it sound like that's unique. And it's not that it's not, because you can kind of role play it in your head, I guess. But like you said, it'd be nice if you're affiliated with Freestar, so you show up at New Atlantis and they treat you like dirt. So then you
Hmm.
have to figure out a spot to maybe go down to the well, where even the people in the well don't like the New Atlantis. So it's but there is really none of that. They should have
Yeah.
done that a lot more. It's kind of like too with Shattered Space. One thing that really irked me about that DLC was the fact that if you wanted to help the Varun and restart the war, you basically kill your character. The guy
Hmm.
had you die and join the Shadow Army. I don't know what exactly happens to you after, but you disappear, and it's like, why couldn't they have done something simple like they did with the pirates, where, well, Sistef is now your enemy because you joined up with the pirates, but instead,
Hmm.
the settled systems is now your enemy
Yeah.
because you're a zealot and you want to burn it down to the ground. That was just kind of a cop out. Shattered Space irked me there, and then the fact that I completed Shattered Space, and then accidentally went through Unity with my old character. Well, I didn't go through. I went to the place, and they showed you all the cutscenes, right?
Hmm.
And Shattered Space is not represented at all there. If you did the whole, because I did everything with that guy. I did Ryujin, I did the Crimson Fleet, and in there, each spot had its own little, I guess, diorama or a little act out of this is what happened there, and then you married Sarah here, and all this other stuff, but not one mention of what happened to Shattered Space.
Yeah. I haven't gone through the Unity with the character that beat Shattered Space. So.
Yeah. The only thing that was kind of cool with Shattered Space is if you go there with Barrett, because Barrett can get Starborn powers. If you play your cards right, you can clone himself. But even if you don't, if he lives and he's not your emissary or whatever and gets killed off, if you go there with him, he can see the guy too. It's not just
Nice.
you. So, there's some kind of tie-in with being exposed to the artifact and then seeing the specter of their leader.
Yeah, that's one thing I completely agree with you there is I sit there and there is so much potential with the Varun story arc and just of Varun in general. Because if you take a look at, well, when you do the UC quest line, you actually go into the embassy of the
Mhm.
Varun. It would be nice that once the Varun are known to be in existence still, you do a quest line where you start helping build up the embassy, clean it up,
Mhm.
make it ready
Yeah.
for the Varun to make themselves known to everybody again.
Yeah. It would be nice if they touched on it a little bit, but instead they just kind of, oh, they really, what we were saying earlier, that maybe somebody else like modders will take a crack at it afterward. The
Hmm.
only problem with that is I know a lot of modders are really hesitant to touch on anything that's official, so to speak. They'll build something out on this planet here, and they'll make this unique character there, but they don't want to really touch on anything that Bethesda might put its bits in later. If they
Hmm.
wanted to make another part of the expansion or add something to it. So it's tough getting those mods. But I imagine if the game lasts long enough and people want it, it'll happen. But yeah.
I could see if the game lasted as long as Skyrim has so far,
Hmm.
where it's become the modding community keeping it alive, I could
Hmm.
see them starting to touch more on the stuff like that.
Yeah. One thing too that they kind of got going for them, as much as people complain about paid mods, it is more of an incentive for people to make stuff, because before
Mhm.
it was almost like they were auditioning, or they were building something just for them, and they might not even put it on Creation Store or something like that. but now it's more of a drive for people to actually have a little business on the side. Well, look at
Oh,
King
yeah.
Gap. Here they do all right.
Oh, yeah. And paid mods are achievement friendly 90% of the time. They won't mess with your achievements. So
Yep.
why not? I would pay a few dollars for a mod, especially if the mod was ran through Bethesda's okay quality
Yeah,
checks.
yeah. Yeah, if they do some quality assurance on it, make sure it's not going to bug your game out or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like to support creativity anyway. I mean, that's a nice thing to do. So
The
if
only
people,
reason, for the longest time, the only reason why I never ran mods on my characters was because I cared about the achievements.
Mhm.
As soon as I stopped caring about the achievements, I started installing mods and having fun again.
Mhm. Yeah, and if you want to go back to achievements, even with that character, all you have to do is go through Unity, make a save while in Unity, shut off all your mods, and start again, and just put on the achievement friendly ones, or put on no mods, or whatever. There's
Mhm.
a way that you can kind of adjust it, which is nice.
That's
'Cause,
nice.
yeah, Unity is like a game cleanser of sorts. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go through it if my saves don't start behave themselves better.
That's going to suck though,
Yeah,
because to all that effort and you can't enjoy the post story mission, the post story, because
yeah.
game starts bugging out.
One thing, if I do that though, is I'm definitely making that quantum entanglement device back at the lodge, so you can bring
Mhm.
over stuff. And I think I've got Starborn Essence up the wazoo. I don't upgrade my powers much. I probably could, and I should, but I want to actually go through it like the game intended, where you have to do your Unity runs to rank them up. I'd rather do it that
Mhm.
way. So I've got enough, I'm sure, to make that 200. I think it's at the 200 pounds you can carry over with you to the next Unity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it'll be in your other game. Oh, well, one thing I think I'm taking are the figures, all the figures, because that's tied to the achievement for one, and it's so flipping hard to. Oh my god, dude! Let's see. I want to say I've put how much time in since probably a good 10 days or more for just Terran Armada, and that's 10 days of playtime, so it's like 250 hours, which is a drop in the bucket compared to the overall amount. But that's just 250 hours of figure hunting, and I still don't have them all. And I mean, I went about that pretty dedicated too.
I've unlocked a few. I did find out that you don't need the pristine packaged Sarah figure to have the conversation with Sarah. She'll do it
Yep,
with any figure of her.
yep, yep. One thing I wish they would do is let you unbox figures, which is counterintuitive to what a lot of collectors like, but that way I could get a little closer to finishing out my collection for the unboxed ones, because I like the diorama. That diorama is kind of cool. They got all the figures kind of displayed open, and they're fighting one another. Remind me of something
doing
I had as a kid.
doing unbox where the character actually sits down in front of a camera and does an unboxing video.
Yeah.
All right, so I hate to do this, but we
No.
are an hour and 10 minutes or so in the recording, so we are going to hit a wrap up point here.
All right, brother.
This has been fun. We didn't get to the main topic of our favorite overall monsters and our favorite overall
Urban legends, yeah.
urban legends, but you know what? I had a blast talking to you about Starfield and Star Wars. That's what matters the most.
Likewise, buddy. Oh,
All right. So I would like to, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. The algorithm
thumbs up.
helps us out a lot. Also, if you're listening to us on podcast, just hit us up with 5 stars. If you want to talk with us, including Mossy, you can find him in our Discord, discord.gg/raw podcasts. I'll also be linked in the description below. We're active on there. Just hit us up. We'll talk. We enjoy talking. We always say hi to everybody that joins. So it's a very welcoming community.
Yep, definitely. Nice little family we got over there.
Oh, yeah. If you want to hit us up for business, anything business, interviews, anything like that, hit us up on our Gmail. That is podcastraw@gmail.com. And with all of that, I want to say thank you for being on the show again. And
My pleasure.
everybody, have a great day.
Yep. Later days, guys, and have a happy 4th of July. Everybody keep your fingers. We only got 10, so watch them fireworks.